Listen, we're in the Champions League. We're in the Champions League. Finishing top 3. We're in the Champions League. Where's Liverpool? Not there. Where's Chelsea? Not there. Where's Spurs? Not there. Oh my God! You're not going blood.
Oh, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to Match Day Reloaded here live, Panenka Studios, all that kind of stuff. Oh, never has an intro aged so badly and so terribly than that one. Oh. We're still just a smidge. We're still just about in the Champions League, but not by much. FC Copenhagen 4, Manchester United 3, Match Day Reloaded, Panenka Studios, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be getting into it this morning. We're going to be getting into some manager quotes. We're going to be getting into some reactions from the players. We're going to be getting into some reactions from Flex, KG, Haley, DJ, Good Vibes, John, as well as giving you some highlights from the match view. So be sure to smash a like and the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. You know what to do, all that fun stuff. I mean, I'm glad we've got an hour this morning. I'm glad we've got an hour because there is so much to get into when it comes to individual player performances, when it comes to VAR, when it comes to decisions from referees, when it comes to our hopes of the Champions League and all that kind of stuff. It's where'd you start? The thing is, I've been thinking about this. I was thinking about this last night when I was laying in bed, and I was thinking about it this morning when I woke up too. As I was thinking, okay, take a step back, Owen. Really, truly reflect on that game, and see it for what it is. And I've hated this season. Truly, I have hated this season. We played well for 20 minutes discussion. We played well for 25 minutes talk. I have hated that. But yesterday, you cannot overlook that the red card fundamentally changes the game. For instance, and that is not the be all and end all, because again, I don't want to give the United players and let them off the hook just for that, because I don't think that's right to do either. But for how long was Marcus Rashford on the pitch for? And let's make sure I get my facts right here. How long was Marcus Rashford on the pitch for? When did he get his red card? He got his red card 42 minutes. I thought it was 40 minutes. So for 40 minutes, Manchester United actually realistically they played their best football of the season. They truly did. Go 2-0 up, 2 goals. Rasmus Hojlund, one in the 3rd minute, one in the 28th minute. Brilliant counter-attacking goals as well. Really decisive. The first one, again, it's a good pass by Rashford to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Reverse pass, McTominay across the box, tap in. Those are the kind of chances we've been saying, make for Rasmus Hojlund. Make those chances. Make those chances for Rasmus Hojlund. Did that, scored a goal. Second goal, brilliant counter-attack as well. A good pass by Bruno to get it to Garnacho. Maybe gets a bit fortunate with the shot. Keeper parries it. Hojlund taps it in. And at that point, United were really in control. Really totally in control of the game. Managed the atmosphere well. I think actually it was a bit surprising with Copenhagen. Copenhagen were maybe a bit below what people thought they were going to be, considering how they had played at Old Trafford, and they had said, welcome to the theatre of nightmares, and it turned out to be that in the end. But at the time, they managed it well. And then the red card, it absolutely fundamentally changes the game. It does change the game. Now I'm going to talk about the reaction to that, because I don't want, again, I'm not letting them off the hook. The red card for me, I'm almost on the fence with it, because in today's football, that is a red card in today's football, because your foot's on the guy's ankle, and when you go to the screen and you see a screen grab of that, a screenshot of that, that's a red card. But I think that takes any form of context out of the game. I think that takes any form of context out of the tackle. Marcus Rashford hasn't even done a tackle in there, and he's been sent off for it. Marcus Rashford is shielding the ball. He's not looking at the player. He's put his foot down without even knowing the guy's ankle is there. He's put his foot down. He doesn't know the guy's foot and ankle is there. And when it happens, he goes, I didn't even know that. So again, that's when we look into, that's when I'm on the fence with it, because I'm not saying that in today's day and age and by the letters of the law, it's not a red card. But I'm saying as a bigger overall wider discussion, VAR is taking context out of these situations And I think that's a problem. I mean, he would have been fouled for what? What would have been the justification? Was it reckless? What's the actual phrasing, terminology the terminology used for that red card? What is it called? I don't even know what's called. Endangering an opponent or whatever. And maybe in that aspect, yeah, he did. But it's not for me. It's not like, for instance, it's not like Romero on Monday, whereby he flies in, gets the ball, but goes over and catches the player. Marcus Rashford hasn't even done a tackle in that. But I get it. But again, I'm not sitting here saying, it's never ever ever a red card, because in today's football it is. So I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that I think you look at that, I think it's soft, and I think it takes context out of it. But that's where we are with football today. I'm not even necessarily debating, like I said, that it should never, ever, ever be a red card, because you will see them be given. You'll also see them not be given, by the way. And we've seen that in the Premier League this season. We've seen tackles far worse than that not get red cards, but this is the Champions League, I guess. It's consistent. It's like anything with VAR. It's consistency. And had there not been VAR last night, that wouldn't have been given. And I am at the point now where I'm like, just get rid of it, because I just don't... I thought VAR was meant to bring in to eradicate errors and get to a point of consistency, but somehow it's become more inconsistent, realistically. But that isn't an excuse to capitulate in the way that Man United capitulate, because after that, when your player gets sent off in the 42nd minute, and I know there was a lot of injury time for a variety of different incidents in that half, but then that's when you get into in-game management. That's when you get into in-game management from the manager and from the players. And you say, right, we're nearly at half-time. Get to half-time. If you get to half-time 2-0, you win that game, for me. You will. United would have won that game. If they got a half-time 2-0, they'd have won that game. And, I mean, almost immediately after the red card, they hit the bar. Then they score. That first goal, it's offside. I mean, this is when I go back to VAR. That is offside, because the precedent has already been set this season. If a player is in front of the goalkeeper, that is offside. But VAR doesn't even check that. Did they even check it? I don't even know if they did. It didn't come up on the screen that they had checked that or anything like that. So what's going on there? I don't know. But then even after that, you go, right, manage it. And then we get into the handball for the penalty. Look, I know we got one in the second half. But for me, I just, again, this goes back to kind of the rules of football. For me, I don't even know what the handball is anymore. I don't even know what the handball is anymore. For me, none of them should have been given. Because I don't think either player, I don't think Maguire then, and I don't think even the Copenhagen guy in the second half, I don't think anyone can do anything about that. With your hands, I mean, even if it's a little bit out of the way of you, I mean, the distance the ball's travelled on both occasions is not that much at all. But again, and this isn't even like a United bias, because I even looked at us in the second half and thought, well, the only reason we should get that penalty isn't necessarily because I think it's handball, but because the precedent has been set that that's a penalty now. A bit like the red card. I'm not going to argue it too much, because again, the precedent seemingly has been set that that's a red card, but just taking a bit of a step back, I just don't agree with the rules anymore, realistically. So that happens, and then actually, and this is almost the thing that frustrates me the most. Second half, we played well again. We managed the game well again for the majority of the second half, and we got the penalty, we scored the goal, but it's individual errors, it's individual mistakes. It's Diogo Dalot not looking over his shoulder. It's Wan-Bissaka doing a terrible pass back to Andre Onana. It's Raphael Varane doing, I don't know what he's doing, playing up from the back. These are individual errors that you look at the manager and go, I sympathise with you there, because what is he supposed to do? He can't compensate for that. He can't compensate for Dalot not checking his shoulder. He can't compensate for Raphael Varane. I don't know what he's doing. He can't compensate for, again, Wan-Bissaka, just absolutely broke foot. The ball back to Onana and leading to that. That's a problem. Now, what he doesn't help himself with, Erik ten Hag, is he makes strange substitutions, and his in-game management is an issue too. He takes Hojlund off, just go for like. Brings on Mason Mount, but that doesn't really work, that substitution. So we find ourselves in the situation we do, 4-3, basically nearly out of the Champions League, and it is unfortunate, because again, I think that certain decisions once again didn't go into our favour. But that is what it is. Josh says, I'm here for your tears, Owen, you clown. You laughed at Arteta. What now? Karma's beautiful. I'd still laugh at Arteta. I don't think one equates the other, by the way. I don't think because what happened last night, people aren't laughing at Mikel Arteta saying a couple of weeks ago, was it you have to support referees and then saying it's a disgrace. I've been saying VAR is a disgrace for years at this point. And realistically, even though those things happened to us last night, we still should react better to them. As I said, get to half-time. A good team and a confident team, despite going down to 10 men, doesn't lose that game last night. And again, that's why you do have to point out that, you know, the red card changes the game, but at the same time, you can't just completely go, it's just on that, because that's an oversimplification of what happened last night, you know, because as I always say, it's not black and white. There are shades of grey involved in all of these kind of things. Does the red card change the game? Yes. But at the same time, you've got plenty of time to react to it and settle down. And we did. And we still didn't manage it. So that's part of it as well. A couple of super chats, then we'll get to some reactions. Ed says, Ten Hag called Arteta to draft a letter to the ref. Tabaslow has been a member for 60 months. Appreciate you. Says it's not a red. It's neither malicious or dangerous. Refs aren't using football IQ. We aren't able to lead matches, and that fact is insane. Glory, glory, United view. And again, I think kind of what Tabaslow is pointing out there, and people can debate whether or not it is a red, but there's still time to go in the game as well. There's still time to go in the game, and you have to react to it. And we both did and didn't, and we capitulated twice, which is incredibly frustrating. And after all that, let's relive it all over again. Here are the match view highlights.
Get back, please! Come on! Nightmare for who? Nightmare for who? Nightmare for who? Nightmare for who? That's all that sign, bro. We matched them up, bro.
I thought Ganache should have
He should have. Whose nightmares are going to be, fam? Your nightmare, bro. How? It's not red. Check over.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's trying to protect. He's trying to put his body. No, it's a bad one.
Yeah.
But this is where you have to know football, like when people in the
You have to know football.
He's trying to put his body across to protect the ball.
Yeah.
And he's accidentally.
He's done it.
He hasn't made a challenge, Rashford.
Not at all.
He wasn't out of control.
Is it going to the screen?
I can't lie, that's
He's
a
going
red
to the
card. It's a red card. I can't lie, it's a red.
It's not a red.
No, it is. It's
not a red card.
It is. Look at it.
He has control of the ball as well.
Well, he's off now. They're going to show that he's off.
Yeah, but look at how they
That's ridiculous, though.
No, but it is.
And his eyes are on the ball too. They're not playing this through.
You know, look here. You can't do that.
He's just trying to shield it,
trying to
though.
shield
No, but that's like saying, yeah, if you're trying to shield the ball and you get your arm out across and you swing someone in the face.
That's
Oh,
a
you
yellow.
know what? It's still
It's
high.
a red. It's a red. It's a red.
It's
too high
actually,
up.
do you know what? I
Look.
think it's a really unfortunate
You can't do
red,
it. You don't
but-
need to stretch your leg out that far out. Like it's too
No,
high.
no,
up.
he's trying to
he's
shield
he's
it.
I love
trying to
him.
shield it.
I love him.
He's trying to shield
I will back him and say that is not a red card for me.
That ref's definitely going to
I'm being fair, man. It's a red.
Wait.
He's off.
Ah, he's done it.
There you go.
Ah.
It begins. 2-1 straight away.
It begins.
You got to get to half time. You need some game management, man.
That wasn't because we're playing with 10 men. That's just.
That was poor.
Yeah, it's
They're
just
shot.
not
The
good management. of the
players are
game,
rattled.
like.
They play the rattled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Begins. They're pissed off. They're
It
rattled.
begins. So unlucky.
It
Always
begins.
us, man.
It begins.
Oh, come on.
That's
not that.
Neither of them. It's not handball. Go and check it then. Why are you doing this though? Now it's corruption.
That's not handball.
wild.
The Varane one hits off his leg. His hand, they're just all there. They're all there.
No, go and check it then.
That's
Football's
not.
done.
That's not.
Football's done. Yeah. Well, that's ridiculous though.
That's ridiculous.
It's not a handball.
It isn't.
That's ridiculous. One moment,
You know
yeah.
something? I'm gonna say this, yeah. No matter how this game ends, I'm proud of what I saw from the boys today. Played
Yeah,
much better.
I'm-
They played
yeah.
much better than we played. Much better than we played.
Take no more
break our
pain.
arms. They tried to cheat us, bro! They tried to cheat, man! Come on! They tried to cheat us, bro!
Effing cheats. Scumbag.
Yes!
What a pen, by the way.
Yes!
Come on.
Guys, now, everybody,
Yes.
do your
Wait.
fucking job.
Game management. Game management
Yeah.
now. We got to
Yeah.
play.
Right.
Yeah.
And big up Maguire as well, man.
word,
Yes.
Don't piss me off. Made it count.
Oh my.
Even that ball into him was smart,
What
fam.
the pen? Fuck's sake, man. Who was there?
How? Fucking
Who
how?
was there?
Fuck, bro. Oh my days,
my
It's
man.
Wamby's fault as well.
Yeah, it was.
It's Wamby's
He's
fault.
there. Not doing anything.
Just can't manage,
And
man.
this is
Dallo,
on
the
his
shoulder
corner.
thing, bro. He
Wamby's fault
loses.
there.
That's
him.
what his
I'm not
corner
gonna.
and
Yeah,
his
but
heavy
it's
foot.
Dallo again. He keeps losing the man behind him, but he did it the first half.
We just can't
He has a
emotionally
habit of
manage,
it.
man.
He has a habit of it, man.
We go again. It's cool. We go again.
We can't emotionally manage.
He's seen him.
It's the low, you gotta be tighter there. The low, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
right.
light.
You
That's
just right.
light. That's
Come on,
light.
bro.
He's just right.
The low.
Because he done it in the first half and got away with it.
And he's done it in a few
Weak,
games
man,
this year.
he's
He's done it in a
weak.
few
Hello.
games this season.
We.
Oh, fucking shit, man! Why are we doing this?
Varane, though.
Why are we doing this, man?
Yeah, Varane. That's on
No.
thingy.
Sake, man.
Varane. That's on Varane.
It's out of
That's on
order.
Varane. That's on Varane. It comes from Varane,
Didn't
bro.
hold on.
That's on Varane. Varane killed us.
Sake, man.
Varane killed us. That's the person that was all screaming to play. And look what he's done to us. The ball's gone under his leg for one, the first goal, and then he's done. Look what he's done there. There you go, Varane.
They're gone. They're finished.
Shit.
They've done.
I knew as soon as we conceded that equaliser, that was it. It's so shit.
Big up to all the guys inside UVHQ there. Pretty rough watch, isn't it? Pretty rough watch indeed. Yeah, they did break Raf. Literally, Raf slammed his hat into the ground. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him either. Let's get into some quotes from the game. Rasmus Hojlund spoke after the game, of course, a bit of a homecoming for him. He said, quote, "The red card changed the game," speaking to TNT after the game. Erik ten Hag said, quote, "The attitude was great. As a team, I can't make any criticism. First Copenhagen goal is an offside goal. Second Copenhagen goal, what can Maguire do? The game can't be like this." Now, when asked if decisions went against Manchester United last night, Ten Hag said, quote, "Not only tonight," basically saying that the decisions have been going against us a lot this season, which, look, it's funny because, again, we had the Arsenal fans in the chat earlier on going, "Oh, you laughed at Arteta." The reason we laughed at against Mikel Arteta is because if you want to actually look at decisions this season when it comes to VAR and Arsenal, they're about average, right, in terms of, again, punitive damage. You look at Man United in the Premier League, we're bottom. We're bottom of everything at the moment. We're bottom of our group in the Champions League. We're bottom of getting punitive decisions against us with VAR this season. I mean, we've conceded a penalty in every single Champions League game we've played in this season. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And even, to be honest, I mean, you can look at three different things there last night, realistically, can't you? I mean, even if you believe the first one's a red card, isn't a red card, like, I get it. I really get it. Like I said, for me, I don't like that in football that's a red card because I think it takes context out of it. But if we're going by the letter of the law, that's a red card. I'll park that to one side. But as Erik ten Hag says, first goal's offside. The first goal's offside. Second goal, again, for me, I'd rather us not get a penalty in the second half and just that not be a penalty in general, because I think that rule is crazy. And the problem is with the handball rule is over the last 5 years, how many times has that handball rule changed? Remember a couple of years ago when it was a point of if it just touched your hand, it was a penalty. And then they went, "No, that's ridiculous." And then they changed it. And then they changed it again. And then they changed it again. And now you get to the point of, like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Realistically, I don't know what is and what isn't handball. Longest time we've been complaining about VAR, and it's just incredibly, incredibly frustrating. So there you go. Anyway, I think I've just cut out and I'm back. Wow, what a morning we're having. Oh, honestly. YouTube was buggy last night as well, honestly. We were having the buffering thing a couple of weeks ago. And now this morning, it's just... Well, carry on. Ten Hag on Copenhagen's first goal, he said, quote, there is a player in front of Onana in an offside position. He also said, quote, not only tonight, we have to deal with many decisions against us in other games. That's how it is. So certainly the Manchester United manager not happy about that as well. What people say in the chat, the stream fell asleep like just like Dallo last night. Yeah, incredibly, yes. Very frustrating. I do want to talk a little bit about Raphael Varane, but I'll do that after we get to Flex's highlights, because I think that's the perfect segue, to be honest with you. Flex likes to call Varane the ghost, the wraith, the phantom. He did come on. There's, I guess, like debate about Raphael Varane's status, or I don't know, his sort of... We'll get into it. We'll get into Raphael Varane shortly. Here's Flex's thoughts after the game.
Where do I start? I'm still very angry at what I just witnessed, because it was a game that basically had absolutely everything in it when it didn't need to. And we could talk about the VAR, which I will talk about in a second. Player mistakes, it had that. It had players fighting, we were fighting. It had good football where we were in total control. It just had everything. But I am going to start to get it out the way, just get VAR out of football. Like, look, we've all had our moments in laughing at other managers or laughing at other teams when it gets done to them. But what I saw today was just ridiculous. Like that red card on Marcus Rashford. Now, football is a contact sport. It's like we're just trying to take every single element of that out of the game and look at everything with a microscopic lens and slow everything down to super, super slow speeds and overanalyze everything. The game is being run by people who just do not have a clue. You can see that Marcus Rashford is trying to shield the ball. There is no intent to hurt the player. Now, even on the stream, I was still a little bit, I get it. Sometimes they can give those ones, but to the law they did, but this is what they're saying about the game is just stupid. Even all the handballs that happen, the one for Harry Maguire is stupid. What's he supposed to do with his arms? I don't get it. The one that we got, it had to be given in the context because it was the same thing. So that's why I was adamant. If you've given one against us for that, you've got to give that. But essentially, they're not handballs. Then their player did it when the ball dropped out the sky and it's hit him on the arm and just inside the area. Where was that? There's a player standing right in front of Onana for their first goal to get back to 2-1. Not even looked at. Their player, I think, threw a little bit of an elbow at Rasmus Hojlund, not even looked at. Like, it's just too inconsistent. It doesn't matter what competition it is, whether it's flipping the Premier League, whether it's the Champions League, it's just an absolute joke. So, yeah, people can say, you're laughing at Arteta the other day, look, hold that. Essentially, it's all the same shit. It's hurting all teams. So that's my thing. Enough is enough with the VAR thing. I've tried to just be patient with it and say, look, all it's doing is showing replays so that people can get to the right decisions. And all it's doing is making us keep talking about decisions for the complete wrong reasons. We would have been talking about human error anyway. Let us just go back to talking about human error. All we're doing is swapping human error for talking about even more human error with even more help and evidence to help them get to the right decision, and they're not. So that's the rant over about that. I have to talk about our mentality. I will big us up for the things that we did well, and I will get there in a little bit. But the mentality of us in these highly emotional moments of games is still costing us individual mistakes. Now, it sounds harsh to start with the negatives, but the reason why I'm doing it is because when I finish this, I want to try and leave it on the good things that I saw, which is why I have to talk about the negatives first. You know, Raphael Varane, what is he doing? I have no explanation as to why he's taken a touch like that with no pressure on him and then proceeds to play that ball with his left foot into thin air and to just know it's straight back to them. Wan-Bissaka plays a stupid heavy pass back to Onana. Now, yes, 9 times out of 10 you could say Onana should deal with that, but let's start with pass appreciation. Look after your teammate. Give him a ball back to him that's got the right weight on it. It's got the right care and attention on the pass. do things crisp, do things properly. And Wan-Bissaka was brilliant, by the way, as well, in his general performance. But at one lapse of concentration, Diogo Dalot, you need to stay tapped in, you need to stay switched on, let the runner go in behind you. That's three big issues where we're not coming through the games in the right way mentally. It keeps happening.
Big up Flex inside UVHQ there yesterday. I did want to talk about Rafael Varane because he mentioned obviously his mistake that he made leading up to the goal, and I think that Erik ten Hag might be in a weird way. He might feel a little bit justified when it comes to not playing Rafael Varane because Erik ten Hag. A lot of people were surprised yesterday. The reaction when Rafael Varane wasn't selected at the start. A lot of people said, "I can't believe Rafael Varane's not starting. I can't believe that's so surprising." And I took a step back and said, well, that's not really surprising at all because Erik ten Hag has basically said that he wasn't going to play Rafael Varane in the press conferences. If you listen to the press conference on Tuesday, he said that we will play better when we have a stable and consistent starting 11, 12 players, 13 players. We will play better football. And he was right. He was right yesterday because that team only had one change in it from the weekend, which was bringing in Marcus Rashford. That was as much of a settled back four as we've had, recently. And I'm not saying, so you're saying it's our best back four? No, I'm not saying that's our best back four. I'm saying it was a settled back four. And we played our best stuff of the season for 40 minutes. We did. We played our best stuff. And then obviously you get an injury and a red card and that changes things. And I think he'll also be justified because he has said on multiple occasions, I don't think Maguire and Varane can play together. I don't like playing Maguire at left centre back. I don't really like playing Varane at left centre back. And then when they're on, Varane makes a mistake and he'll say, hey, I feel like I was justified in not selecting them to play together because stuff like that can happen. Now you could argue, well, if Varane was up to speed and he wasn't as rusty and blah 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 the last few weeks, then that wouldn't happen. But I don't think he had any intention of probably bringing Rafael Varane on yesterday if Johnny Evans wasn't injured, realistically. So I don't know what's going on with Rafael Varane at the moment. I don't know if it's a case of purely tactical. I don't know if it's a case of Erik ten Hag doesn't trust his fitness. I don't know if they've fallen out or anything like that. I don't know, realistically. I still do think when it comes to Rafael Varane, yes, he's one of our best centre-backs at the club. At the same time, I still say for a fitness point of view, you cannot rely on him. If the option was there in the summer to let him go. And this is why, like, sort of last summer, when it came to, there might be possible Saudi interest, I wasn't totally against it because you need continuity. You need continuity and you need consistency. Rafael Varane's a brilliant defender. Absolutely brilliant defender. But even, in his first season under Ollie and last season, you can't, it's difficult to rely on him all the way through the season because he keeps getting injured. And so you're saying Maguire and Evans are the answer? No, I'm not saying that they are the answer. But if they're available and available to play for however many weeks, which I guess is not the case now because Johnny Evans has got injured too, then the continuity was working. It was working. The continuity was working. And I do think there's probably more to it than just, injuries and tactics and illness. I do think there might be a bit more friction between the player and the manager. But, that just, again, it's part of the cultural reset that United need. And then, again, that's not a slant at Rafael Varane. It's not saying that Rafael Varane's a bad egg because Rafael Varane's one of the most cool and composed players and calm, and you think easy to get along players in football. But it goes back to recruitment, doesn't it? It goes back to recruitment when it comes to Manchester United because you say to yourself, wait a minute, actually, when we sign Rafael Varane, we do this a lot. We're signing a player from Real Madrid, but what are we actually doing? Is it a good long-term signing? Is that good recruitment? Or are we signing a player that is injury prone and is going to be here for a couple of years and then is going to go? That's when, when Sir Jim Ratcliffe was at Carrington and at Old Trafford in March and he sort of questioned, the Casemiro signing and people got really almost offended by that. And they said, what's he questioning Casemiro for? It's questioning, is this a smart long-term transfer for Manchester United? Is that a good transfer? And again, that's when it's got back to. So, I don't know what he's doing for that goal either, realistically. So again, I think and you don't want to be too reactionary. But you do feel, don't you, that Rafael Varane, come next summer, maybe he does go, and that's off the back. I know it's off the back of a couple of games, but I just think in general we just need a reset when it comes to that. And I don't mean the manager, I mean the players, and I mean smarter transfers, longer term strategy. It's just, it's constant, isn't it? Super chat here, and then we'll get to more reaction. Jaish says, let's also acknowledge that we have not had a settled starting 11 this season. Many of these players need a solid run in the team. With a settled backline and midfield, we will get better. Certainly something that Erik ten Hag was saying in the press conferences there. Let's get some more reaction. Let's go to KG after the game. Here are his thoughts.
Man, this is probably going to be one of them, fan views that will annoy some people, and it is what it is. But I have to be honest with what I'm seeing. I have to be honest with what I'm seeing from my team. Man United, it's one of them games where I'm annoyed a little bit, but I can't be truly angry, because for the first time, I'm seeing things that I haven't seen this season from Man United. I saw fight, I saw attempts on goal, and I know this is like scraping the barrel, but then I have to just remember the journey that this team has been on. There's been void of confidence and just pathetic at times in so many games where I was at the City game, and I was like, we're not doing anything. We are not going to do anything. No matter how long we play, nothing's going to happen in these games. For the first time, I'm actually seeing patterns of play, a style, a rhythm, like one-touch passing, Bruno coming to the game, Eriksen being in the game, and being proud, liking my team. And it's been hard to say that. It'll be hard to find a Man United fan that said they've enjoyed what their team's done this season. This is what we tried to do today. Man United tried to turn up today, but then what is clear, we can't fool ourselves and be foolish. We're not good enough. But then what you need, when you're not good enough, things need to go on your side. You need luck, and you need the right decisions. And unfortunately, while we've been horrible, you can't escape from us being horrible. There's so many different elements to this thing. While we've been horrible, we have lacked leadership in the right moments. We've lacked mentality in the right moments. And it's like, you can just, it's just there. But then we have to talk about the decisions. We have to talk about the decisions. We can't leave it out. It's so subjective. My biggest issue is, I hate the slow motion freeze frame thing. I hate it. It's annoying, and we always do it, and then it's like, when you talk about who's running VAR, about football people, you got to talk about intent and where was he looking? Did he mean that one? He's trying to protect the ball. Yes, it's unfortunate. It's an awful collision that happens, and these things will happen in a game. It is a contact sport after all. And he tries to protect the ball, and he tries to come across, and he catches the man on the ankle. Horrid yellow card. I think it's a yellow, especially looking at Rashford focused on the ball. Focused on the ball. Now, people can say, it's because it's so high up, but it wasn't even like a tackle. It wasn't a tackle. It was literally trying to shield. When do we take that into account? But nope, you know what? Red card, send them off. And that's where the trouble starts, because Man United, we can't deal with adversity. We can't, and I'll flex an apology, because he said to me in the Arsenal game, and this is when it's viral, it was like, don't say nothing, and then look what happens, boom, scored, goal happens. Man United, as soon as something happens to us on the pitch, we capitulate. And it's literally capitulation FC. We can't deal with the situations, but some situations is not even all our fault. Today again, you talk about consistency, and I know it's almost stupid complaining about VAR decisions, because this is the way football's going at the moment. You look at the next one, well, the first goal, let's have it right. We talked about subjective, in the last game we played, the goal got chalked off for subjective offside. Yeah, the ball is in front of the goalkeeper. Apparently, Maguire was in offside position. He was affecting play. Well, what about the guys that's in Onana's way, standing in an offside position? Doesn't matter. It's not subjective. Let the goal count. Okay, that's cool. We move into the next one. We get the handball situation with Maguire, and it's like, let's really look at this one. Maguire doesn't know anything about it. He's in, it's like pinball. In that moment, ref says points. Doesn't go and check. He doesn't check at all. He just knows it. You know what? Penalty, guaranteed, give it. And you're thinking, okay, that's strange. When Man United finally have one, he has to check. Now he wants to be 100% sure. It's not consistent. Go to the line. You didn't go to the line for the first one. It took you so long to work it out. It is, and on those ones, disgraceful. These are the moments when, bro, like, are you not going to continue doing this? And then even at near the end of the game as well, there's the last one where it definitely touches his hand. It clearly touches the guy's hand at the end of the game, and it's not counting anymore. Well, you lot have been giving away soft penalties for handball. Let's continue this. Let's continue in this mode. But we
Big up KG from UVHQ. Excuse me there yesterday. I do want to talk about Diogo Dalot. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. I want to talk about Diogo Dalot because I feel like we've spoken about the fullbacks a lot this season for Man United. Obviously, we've spoken about them a lot because we've had a lot of injuries and we've had absences. And Dalot, realistically, has been the most sort of consistent player at fullback because he's the one that's been available. Wan-Bissaka's just come back from injury, but I've said this a lot with both of them. With both of them, I prefer Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I prefer Aaron Wan-Bissaka over Diogo Dalot because I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a better defensive fullback. But realistically too, I look at Diogo Dalot and I say to myself, I go, how good defensively is he? And I know Wan-Bissaka's better, but also moving forward. People say going forward as well. They go, moving forward, Dalot's better than Wan-Bissaka, and I go, is he? Is he really? I don't know if I necessarily see that, if he actually is. Is he actually genuinely better than him going forward? Because I'm not necessarily sure that I see that, you know. And last night's a great example. Not necessarily the forward point that I'm trying to make defensively. But that goal, check your shoulder. That goal that you concede with Diogo Dalot there, that's got nothing to do whatsoever with being down to 10 men. That's just poor defending. That's just poor basics defending that they don't do well. That's the problem. That's just poor. Absolutely poor, and they don't do enough with that. And then Wan-Bissaka again, just simple errors. This is why I do sympathise with Erik ten Hag realistically too. I sympathise with him because he can't compensate for that. He can't compensate for an international fullback not being able to check his shoulder. He can't compensate for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, again, just sliding the ball back to Andre Onana. What can he do with that? That's just poor, and we concede those kind of goals way too often. And realistically too, this is when I said like Diogo Dalot gets a 5+ year contract, whatever. I go, cool, but both of them, we can do so much better. We can do way better, and we should do better in terms of the recruitment. And again, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Now, I'm already behind when it comes to my clips this morning. Let's go to Haley. I'm pissed off.
Absolutely wild. I mean, the game started off so well. So excited. I've never clapped that much in a long time for my team.
You said, look at the team and look how we're playing.
I was clapping like I was in church. They was playing so well. I was so proud of them. And then, you know, VAR comes along, ref comes along, Rashford comes along, but it shouldn't have been a red, in my opinion anyway. You could debate it till the cows come home, but I'm saying that's not a red card. We all know what he was trying to do. He's just trying to shield the ball, protect it, move a man away. And fucking red card.
And it changes the game.
It completely.
The whole game changed.
We was saucing, we was cooking, we was 2 goals up. It was cruise control. That was the best we played all season. I couldn't believe this was my Man United. And then before you know it, everything spun up.
You know what though, I gotta be fair to, like, while we did get some bad situations and bad moments, we have to be honest and say we got to talk about the mentality of players in the dressing room, because Man United made a lot of their own errors as well today.
But this happens all the time though. This happens all the time. We're just not good enough. Like, these players that are filling in, they are just not good enough. I mean, let's start with Varane. When we saw the team sheet today, I was one of the people that was like, like, maybe I was spreading rumours, maybe, why is he not starting? But let me tell you something. Ten Hag must have been seeing that he's been having bad touches in training. Because them touches and he's getting megged for the first to make it 2-1. He's getting megged. You're not closing your feet. Even before that, when he's come on the pitch, he's having bad touches. He weren't warmed up. He wasn't ready. Why are you not ready?
But he got to be. He's experienced.
I thought that he was experienced. This is what I was saying. You're experienced, Champions League guy. You've won 5. The atmosphere, everything, nothing should be phasing you. You should be coming in and calming us all down. We've lost Evans. Imagine I'm upset we've lost Evans. Evans and Maguire was playing good together. No one in a million years will be thinking Varane's going to come on and then do a mad thing. But he did.
You think you're going to be more better at the back with a player like him?
But we wasn't. We wasn't. Like this is the story of Manchester United. Mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. Why are you not controlling that ball properly? Who told you to do that?
Listen, man. So Varane has his moment, but we have to talk about there's other moments. You get the good and bad from Wamby. Wamby does the reverse pass. It's sublime, and then Wamby.
We're singing his praises today.
Yeah.
We're so happy that he was back because you can see it's day and night between him and Dalot at right back. The type of reverse passes he was doing, the type of tackles he was doing, he was almost playing like, yes, back to your best. But no.
He does the fizz pass into Onana. Onana's
it's crazy. It's suicide passing. At the what was that? The 81st minute.
Yeah, 81st minute.
While we're winning 4-3, all you've got to do is just keep it cool, keep it calm, calm, collective.
While we're winning 3-2, sorry.
3-2.
Yeah.
You want to do a mad thing. You want to do a mad thing. What type of suicide pass was that back to Onana? What's he supposed to do with that? Yes, we know he's got good feet, but what is he supposed to do with that? And that's when all hell breaks loose. That's where it goes tits up. I mean, it was going tits up from the first half, but after we regained the lead, you can't be doing stuff like that. Why do we do these things?
Big up Haley talking to KG inside UVHQ. I do want to talk a little bit about Rasmus Hojlund as well, because once again I sympathise for him. I mean, the story of his season, you sympathise for him. He scored 2 goals yesterday. Maybe he should have had a hat-trick, actually. He had an opportunity right after he got the second that you say to yourself, actually, maybe he should do a bit better with. But once again, he comes off, he looks dejected, he looks disappointed, and he scored 2 goals, getting booed by the home fans there, because it's still... I mean, to be honest, yesterday he could do all he could do. I don't, like I said, this is where Erik ten Hag does not help himself. Some of the substitutions that he makes are just bizarre. They're bizarre and they're bizarre and they don't make a lot of sense. Or he is so often this season gone like for like when it comes to substituting Rasmus Hojlund. Now, we don't know what the situation is, medically. He might have been told by the medical staff, at United, can't play 90 minutes or can't do this, can't do that. We've got to manage him. Okay. Comes off, when was it, 70 odd minutes or something like that. But why not go like for like? Why not bring on Anthony Martial? He brought on Mason Mount. And there's, to be honest, a much bigger conversation to have when it comes to Mason Mount, because that was his first signing of the summer, 60 million quid. And all of us, well, a lot of fans at the time said, I don't see where he fits into the puzzle. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And now it's looking like it doesn't make a lot of sense for Erik ten Hag, because he brought him on as a false 9 last night. So are we actually saying if we'd have kept 11 on the pitch, he probably would have gone like for like with Martial? Would have Mason Mount even got on? That signing doesn't look like it makes a lot of sense. Where does he fit in? And when he came on again, that didn't work. I don't necessarily disagree too much with the Amrabat substitution for Eriksen. I know people say, why did he take Eriksen off? He was the only ball player. But when you're down to 10 men and you need legs in midfield, and I don't think Amrabat did that great when he came on, to be honest with you. And I think Amrabat might be one of those players that we, again, put the expectation of the world on. He's going to save us. He's going to save us. Once we get this guy in, that's going to be it, sorted. And he's not that. He's not as high as the expectations that we put on him. And I put myself into that as well, by the way. But he's not that high. But that's a logical substitution to make, because you want to get legs on the pitch and you want to get a bit more steel in there when you're down to 10 men. But the Mason Mount one, you sort of go, I don't get it. And that didn't work. And then as far as Hojlund, he did everything he could do last night. Held up the ball well, scored 2 goals, and still isn't enough. And he must sort of come off the pitch going, I don't know what more I have to do. Calero says, I'm sorry blaming Varane is a disgrace. Excuse FC, the manager is clueless. Is not saying the manager still an excuse as well? Raphael Varane came on and was instrumental in that goal that we conceded last night. I mean, I think it's perfectly valid to blame Raphael Varane for that goal because, again, that's an individual error. That's an individual mistake from someone you don't expect that to make, you know? And again, when you look back at the Raphael Varane signing, and I'm not saying Raphael Varane is a terrible defender. He's been one of the best defenders in the world for the last decade or so, right? But if you do take a step back and look at the recruitment of a Raphael Varane, of a Casemiro, of that ilk of player, it is one of those ones where, so what's this, his third season at United, and he's had 2 seasons where last season wasn't as injury prone as the first one, but you do sort of go like, again, where is the forward thinking with the future there with that, you know? And I do think there's a variety of different factors involved in this. Obviously, I think there's fitness. Obviously, they said illness. I do think that, again, there's something that's happened between him and Erik ten Hag. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if that news came out. And also, if there has been a falling out, and he doesn't think that Raphael Varane is pulling in the direction for him, a bit like the Jadon Sancho situation once again, it's the manager's prerogative to pick who he wants. Like that's the manager's job. And he was justified. This is what I don't get with that argument. He was justified with the selection that he made last night because it was working. It was working. It worked at the weekend, and it was working prior to the red card. And when he brought on Raphael Varane, him and Maguire, he said they can't play together. They make mistakes trying to pass the ball to each other. But what are we going to do? Blame him for the substitution that he has to make because Raphael Varane, because Johnny Evans gets injured? You know, we have to get. I think we have to get past this point. You know, you talk about excuses FC. We have to get past player FC as well. We do. We have to get past player FC when it comes to all of this. I can't fall out with Varane. He's got to go. He can't fall out with Sancho. He's got to go. You know, no. If it's not working out, then the players have to go, not the manager. Because we will repeat the same cycle over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I look at last night realistically, and again, I'm not saying the last Taberstall says, Owen, working. Do you know how many we conceded the last couple of games? I meant working last night, and it worked at the weekend because we didn't concede at the weekend. It was 1-0. And prior to, again, the red card, we weren't conceding. It was working. But again, Johnny Evans gets injured and it gets a red card as well. You know, that's what I'm saying there. And again, this is what's wild with all of this, because you say something like this and people will say, so you're saying. I mentioned that a lot this morning, but people keep saying that. So you're saying. I'm not saying. It's ridiculous that in 2023 our consistent centre-back pairing is Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. That's nuts. That's mad. That shouldn't be happening. And again, that's even more evidence of the position that we're in long term with recruitment. That's our centre-back pairing, the most consistent centre-back pairing. But Varane, he's been ill, he's been injured. Lissandro Martinez, he's injured. Victor Lindelof wasn't playing well as well, and he was ill the last few days. So again, you're looking at consistency over time, and it was working. It was working. So that's what I'm saying with that. You're saying Johnny Evans is better than Raphael Varane? Of course not. Of course not saying that. But again, people need to get past this sort of player FC thing. They do, you know. And we were all saying Raphael Varane should start. He should start. And then he came on and he was instrumental to conceding the goal. And that's why I say Erik ten Hag, I think, will be justified with not selecting him realistically. Where we got here, a couple more super chats here. Matifalu, or actually Lilio, sorry, first, says, Owen, can we have a 10-second silence for our Champions League hopes? There you go. Matifalu says, I'm numb to this team. One lose, one kind of cycle. One loss, one kind of cycle. So there you go, when it comes to the super chats as well. Where are we at when it comes to reactions? Let's go to DJ. Here are his thoughts after the game.
Oh man, you know what? That's kind of one of the weirdest games of football I've seen in a while. Just all I can say is bad luck. But again, it's those individual mistakes and individual errors which are costing us. And it's been sort of like our pattern all season. Some of the goals we conceded as well. If you look across the season, it's similar type of goals we're conceding. And just players, again, not necessarily the same players, but players, again, making mistakes that are just leading to, goals going against us.
There's been a lot of talk about just the manager and tactics and this, that, and the other. How do you rate the way Ten Hag tried to set up for this game? Do you think he did all he could, or do you reckon there was much needed? He could have done much more.
I looked online, I looked on social media. I see a lot of people talking about why did Ten Hag take off Hojlund? Like, it doesn't matter at that point because the damage is kind of already done.
Playing up front for that long by yourself is...
and he's having to run in shadows and stuff. And he had some of the ball today. He scored 2 good goals. But he's a striker that presses relentlessly. And to do that over 90 minutes is taxing, innit? And you got to save him a little bit from himself, I guess. But in terms of what Ten Hag did in terms of setting up, I was impressed, man. We had control of the game quite early on. We was playing football, something that we haven't done across the season. We was matured. There was a lot of mature performances out there. We scored very early on, something that we haven't done in a while. And we looked confident. We looked settled. We looked compact. We looked like a team. We was defending well. We was attacking well. We was 1-touch, 2-touch passing. And we brought that in 20 minutes because I remember when we was watching the game, it was a little bit stop-start from the beginning. Some weird stuff was going on. But like for at least a good half an hour, we was solid. Do you know what I mean? And the referee has a big part to play. He has blood in his hands, in my opinion. I'll say the word corruption. Honestly, they did everything in their power to not give us that game. And then we helped them by shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah. Again, corruption FC is a thing that everyone's complaining about VAR and these stuff. But again, this is football now. This is football. Yeah. We've seen so many, while we're complaining, into Salzburg, so many games where the handball, bro, was such... I don't know how to play this game anymore.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to lie, I don't even know the rules anymore, to be... No, honestly, I don't. Because, I've seen players with hands by their side, gets given a handball. Obviously, if there's contact and the ball hits the hand...
The Maguire
one was a
criminal. Because if they was going to give one, I would have thought the Varane one. Because that looked... If it was the Varane one, I said, it looks kind of clear.
Right, and that's the one where I'd have I would have still said it's harsh, but I can see it's a clear strike on the arm. Yeah. With Maguire, it's a coming together with a player, the ball's like just fumbled into them, it's hit his arm. And even when their handball, we had to beg for that. We had to beg for that. And it's only because the referee kind of boxed himself in a corner with his decision, he had to give that. He didn't want to give it.
He didn't want to give it. Because the first one, he never... This is the inconsistencies, right? With the one that happened against us with Maguire, he was so adamant. He didn't go and check on his screen. He said, give it. This one, he was like, actually, let me go. And do you see how long it took for the decision to be made? So that's when you say, well, where's the consistency?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's what worries me in the game. Like, look, on the stream, I said Rashford's one wasn't a red for me. Don't get it twisted. After seeing it back a few more times, I can see the argument. I can see the argument. But I can also see the argument for why it should be a yellow. Just because, one, the intent. 2, his eyes have always been completely on the ball. He hasn't even looked at the man once. He's making a natural action in stepping across a player. The players come from behind him towards the left of him, and it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. That's why I think it should have been a yellow, not a red, but I can see the argument. But the Maguire one, for me, mad.
Big up DJ talking to KG after the game there last night. How many likes are we currently on at the moment? We're currently at 131 likes. Over 700 people watched, nearly 800. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, all of these fan views are available in full form. After last night's game, we are going to be getting another reaction from Flex today as well. As far as Erik ten Hag, look, I can see in the chat, and to be honest, it's been like this the last couple of weeks. Some people will have made their mind up on Ten Hag and said, see, this is why he should go, he should go, he should go. My position on Erik ten Hag hasn't changed, and it won't change, realistically. And that is that, stick by the manager. Stick by the manager. I still have the same perspective on it that I did prior to the game against Fulham, after the defeat against Newcastle, after the Manchester derby. I see no benefit long-term in getting rid of Erik ten Hag, because we have to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle, and we can't keep doing the same things. And we can't keep doing the same things after every single game at the moment, where we go, get rid of the manager. Okay, then what? Then what are we going to do? We're gonna get in an interim. We're gonna get in Hansi Flick, yeah? Who people point to failings, and people focus so much on failings too. If you want to focus on failings, you can focus on Hansi Flick's, the success he had at Bayern Munich, absolutely. But you can look at the failings that he had at the German national team. They sacked him before a home tournament for the Euros. We can look at stuff like that. People saying Zinedine Zidane, what a joke. what a joke. What a joke. People saying Zinedine Zidane, like he'd come to Man United. Like anyone at this point in time would go to Man United as well. No money, FFP, middle of a investment saga, a mishmash of different players that are falling out with them and are in exile and all this kind of stuff. And again, there might be an immediate bounce. Oh, great. 18 months' time, we find ourselves in the same situation. Now, is Erik ten Hag beyond reproach? No. Has he made errors this season? Yes. Has he made weird in-game decisions? Yes. Has his recruitment or his influence on recruitment been a problem? Yes. But at the same time, Manchester United's recruitment in general is terrible. Look at the last decade. When managers haven't been in control of it, it's not been much better. What needs to happen is a cultural overhaul at the club. If Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, they're successful and all this kind of stuff, they come in, take over Sporting Control, still want that roadmap for a full takeover because the Glazers still need to leave. They're the reason we're in the shit show that we're in at the moment. But that recruitment needs to be taken away from Ten Hag. It needs to be run better. And we don't find ourselves in the situation where our most consistent centre-back pairing this season is Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, Leicester centre-back pairing from 5 years ago. That's the situation that we're in. And can Ten Hag be better? Yes. But if we sack him, we find ourselves in the same situation in about 18 months' time. And we do this all over again. Another rebuild. And then we have the same conversation in 12 months' time. Well, he's got players from different managers. That's part of the problem. Well, he's had this and we'd had that. It's the same. It's the same every single time. We have to break that cycle. And I know that I might be, that might fall on deaf ears for some people. He's not good enough. Get rid of him. But, it's just, I looked at last night different realistically to how I've looked at some of the other defeats this season, where I say I did genuinely, and people don't want to hear it after you've lost to a team like Copenhagen, which you should be beaten in the Champions League. But I did see positives in parts of that game, realistically. I did. And I think we need to stop being, certainly with this, we need to stop being as reactionary after this game. I get it after certain games. Newcastle game, disgrace. Man City game, disgrace. I don't have an issue with that. But that one last night, I feel like, again, that was... There are certainly mitigating factors, shall we say, involved in that defeat last night, for me, anyway. Let's get the final reaction from Good Vibes John, and I can confirm the Good Vibes are still struggling.
Unfortunately for Manchester United, our Champions League hopes of making it to the knockout stages have been reduced to near zero. I won't say zero just yet because there is still a mathematical possibility, but it's going to be a mountain and a half to climb. My immediate reactions of the game, it's a blend of numbness and a blend of shock. It's a numbing shock. It's not a surprising shock. It's a numbing shock. We've seen decisions go against us so many times in the most harshest of ways possible throughout the entire season. And I feel horrible for the Manchester United players today and Erik ten Hag because we looked phenomenal in the opening 20 minutes. We looked amazing. And in a different reality, in a different multiverse, if Thanos was here, hit all them 6 stones and he snapped, if we had all 11 players because we were given the right call, this could have been a completely different result. Copenhagen looked like they had nothing to offer, respectfully speaking, in the opening 20 minutes. They couldn't string a couple of passes together. All of their passes were just all over the place. They were skewing passes, mishitting it. They looked like they weren't up for it, respectfully speaking. But unfortunately, Thanos is a comic book. And unfortunately, for Manchester United, the reality of the truth is that Marcus Rashford got sent off. I want to talk about the VAR situation a little bit more in depth later down the line, but let's just talk about how the game opened up. I was so happy, so excited, and so much I've been craving for that moment for so long, where Manchester United looked great. In the opening 15 minutes, we looked like we were playing dope ball. Just talk about a couple of key moments before the red card situation. Marcus Rashford and Wan-Bissaka down the right-hand side. That combination is the best combination that I've seen this entire season. I've always said that Marcus Rashford should never be swung across the front three because his best position is on the left-hand side. But I've only said that when Marcus has been flourishing down the left, or if he's been struggling because he just can't seem to get an eye for a goal. However, this season it's completely different because he has been playing extremely poorly. He looks jaded mentally. He looks like he's second-guessing himself all the time. And when you're in that position, it actually serves as a bit of a medicine to play him down the right because he's almost forced to play a much more simpler style of football. And if you're physically adept, if you're stronger, faster than your opposition, irrespective of how you're playing, if you keep things simple, things will open up for you naturally. And I thought that Erik ten Hag's decision to play Marcus down the right actually worked for him in his favor because his combination play alongside Wan-Bissaka was the best combination I've seen this entire season. They look so good together. Something about their movement and their awareness. Wan-Bissaka, how many times have I told you guys he is the best right back for Manchester United? He looks great. And every person that was saying, John, he is not good enough back then when I was defending him, even when he wasn't playing all that great, was his attacking contribution. And look at him now. He looks so good, looks so fluid going forward. Nonetheless, their combination play looked excellent. Bruno Fernandes in the 10. He was distributing as if he was the true orchestrator, the maestro, the conductor. He looked so good. There was a moment where the ball was coming over the top and he chested it. And while the ball was still in the air, he thumped it across to connect to Garnacho on the other side. And I truly felt so happy because I thought for a brief moment, Manchester United were really kicking dope ball again. We looked so good. We looked so good. Johnny Evans looked great. Harry Maguire looked great. Wan-Bissaka, phenomenal. Diogo Dalot, you guys know how I feel about Diogo Dalot. I love Diogo as a lad. I think he's a great fella and a good defender and a good player, but he's just not good enough for Manchester United. And I don't think his defending is all that there.
Big up, John. Good vibes, John. Again, the vibes are struggling. I do just want to end on this before I wrap things up. So it's in games here. And again, I'm not going to... If people think that Man United should sack Erik ten Hag, then that's their opinion. I'm not going to criticize you and say your opinion's wrong because your opinion is no more right or wrong than mine. It's just that. It's an opinion. But Singame says, end of the season, then what? Another rebuild, no Champions League, no players want to come to us and play Europa guff. Wake up, people. I do it now. New manager bounce, try and save top four in Champions League. And that, for me, is the opposite of what United are doing. Because for me, that's pressing the panic button. And we have pressed the panic button so many times over the last decade. And that, for me, is the opposite of what we should do. Because even if, we don't get into top four or top five this season, whatever it may be, short-term pain for long-term gain. There needs to be continuity. There needs to be sustainability. And again, with the current structure as it is, it's constantly going before like that. It's constantly going to be going like that. What we need to do is we need to have consistency. What we need to do is we need to believe in a manager that if stuff isn't working out, we back him. Players that aren't working out, we get rid of, and we have continuity. As I said, we've got to just stick to a lane. Football, unfortunately, under this structure and this ownership, does not constantly go up like that. It just doesn't for us. And it will never under the Glazers. It won't. What we've got to stop doing is constantly pressing that panic button. Every single time we go, we just got to save top four. We just got to save top four. That's what we've been doing the last decade or whatever. We got to think about top four. Think about top four. Last time we did that with Ollie, when did we end up finishing in the end? 6th. We were lucky to even get Europa League. You know, when it happened with Jose, what happened? Where did we finish? Oh, we didn't even qualify for the Champions League that season. It was Ollie once again, wasn't it? With the interim. You know. Actually, whenever we've sacked a manager during a season, have we ever got top four in the last decade? I don't think we have. So that's part of it as well. that we've just got to pick a lane, stick in it, continuity, consistency across the board. You know, for me, it's patchwork once again, and the vehicle is beyond broken down at this point, beyond broken down. So you can't keep doing patchwork here and there. It's, Ralph Rangnick said, it's not little minor cosmetic things. It's open heart surgery. And that's, for me, what it should be. But there you go. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As I mentioned, more content coming today. So stay tuned for that, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.